You starting off on the attack, by the looks
Well, they
of
haven't,
things?
apparently Blank haven't played Horizon at all so far in Contenders. So, yeah, interesting that they picked the one map that they have actually lost on.
Yeah.
And I, for one, am very keen to see Adam here on
Torbjorn.
On Torbjorn, yeah.
Well, I mean, this
What
is
is
a bit
it?
sus.
Why
What's
does
going
it,
on here, guys?
Why does it spin forward? What do you think it is? You know what I mean?
Spin what?
So look at the back of his backpack.
I would love to, but it's moving a lot.
It's got a thing that's moving forward. Adam, can you just stop?
Yeah, stop moving!
Adam, stop!
Jesus Christ, Adam.
I'm done. I'm glad we're watching this, to be honest.
Well, there really isn't that much else to watch at this point, is there? Oh, I see it.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
I don't know
really
what
care.
it is either. Maybe it generates armor. That's what I'm going to go with.
Yeah, it could be like the scrap metal crusher.
Yeah.
That turns it
It's
into
like
armor.
its own little furnace in his backpack.
Yeah.
That's where he gets it from. That's what I'm going to go with.
All right.
I probably don't need to make this up because there's probably a real answer. But
Micro's on the Widow. And Darksided now are aware of that.
And now a Genji.
Now against, yeah, he just wanted to go for that initial pick. Which is fair enough. Straight up dive again out from Blank Blue for Darksided. Fairly similar. But they do have the Soldier for Thermo, which is a very good choice in my opinion. Really strong on that one. And Yana as well. Potential for the Nano Visor.
One of my favorite things in all of Overwatch.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Does a lot of damage, particularly when used within the back line of the opposing team.
Definitely. Darksided are giving ground here, however, though, and that gives Blank Blue a few more avenues to attack from. A little bit split up by Darksided, but Turmo and Mooney get the first couple of picks of the fight.
So quick they shut this one down, Jordan. Turmo finds another two, which is going to start really stacking up this TAC Visor charge as well. You can see Molotov almost ready as well with the Transcendence. So
Suko, look at that.
Yep.
He's up to 92%. Next fight he's going to have that ultimate available to him. And
Nano Boost.
Blank Blue, they only were able to get one kill in that last fight. That was USMC going down. So back to the drawing board for Blank. And they're going to give themselves a little bit of time to regroup. But once more, they will push their way in. On the back of Micro's Reflect.
Going to go round upstairs all the way through and back down again. That's what we saw last time. You're going to try it once more. Probably going to be allowed onto the side. It didn't work last time, Jordan. Yep. Maybe it'll work this time. The Nano Boost is going to go onto the Winston. A very scary gorilla right there.
Especially if you're a Genji, which is exactly the prime target that Mooney's going to be trying to chase down. In the end, Turmo's the one to get that kill. But once more, a wipe in favor of Darksided here. Only one ulti used in that fight, none from Blank Blue, and only one from Darksided. So that's pretty good work from Darksided, I feel. Just using the Nano Boost to ensure that they win the fight. No real complications from it. But now Blank Blue, this is their best chance to come back into it. They do have to deal with quite a bit, though. Turmo's down low. Ooh, almost picked off. Indeed, he does get picked.
Dragon Blade coming out, finds two, and that was Turmo before the TAC Visor comes out. This might be the opportunity now for Blank to push on and capture this site. They have four there. USMC doing his utmost, but not going to work this through. Hunter goes down. Adam pushes through, picks up Swilko. And Blank Blue will take the point unless something extraordinary comes out here from Darksided.
Yeah.
I think they're happy to say, all right, let's try this again.
Great awareness out from from Blank Blue there. They get the big chunk of damage onto Turmo and Micro immediately on top of him as soon as he gets dropped low. Sees the opportunity, gets the reset, also gets Punk, who was still in the Baby Diva, up to 99% of the mech charge. And that puts Blank Blue on the front foot now. They have the opportunity to close this out fairly quickly. Sound barrier is down.
That's a good start. A number of ultimates here from Darksided ready to be used. Turmo going to kick it off, though, with the tactical visor. They're not fighting on the point either, so this may not work out for Blank at all. You see two of them going down, including the tank and the support. Sign pushing through, trying to get some kills, trying to do the best he can. Recall's back out there on the point. Three there, the self-destruct goes off, forces them out, needs to reset that ticker through, reset that capture point. Still alive, Jordan.
Yeah, Mooney comes out onto the Bastion to buy themselves a little bit more time. Not too much. It's USMC that's doing the majority of the work, and now a Nano Boost out onto Punk. That's really going to scare off Blank Blue. They're not too keen to deal with a boosted up mech. Blank Blue back again away from the point. Didn't even get a single tick in all of that. So not particularly pleased with that, I don't think. But such is the nature of Assault. Micro does have a Dragon Blade here, and we've seen them time and time again for Blank Blue be the difference.
Yes. A quality Genji with a quality use of Dragon Blade is at times, is often very good.
Yeah, very good.
Termo
indeed.
also, though, you can see almost ready for this tack visor, just trying to stay alive long enough to get it out, and he will be able to do it. Side, though, finds 2. Tack visor now ready. See that one pop, pushes through, wants to get some frags, won't have it. Shut down by Adam. USMC with a pulse bomb, not ready to throw it out. Goes down, Jordan. And maybe Blank Blue can capture this point here, at least get a tick, surely. Maybe, but they're losing players of their own, and Dark starting to trickle back in onto this point.
Alas.
Blank Blue did not win that one convincingly enough, despite Sign getting a huge double kill. Micro now looking for something with this Dragon Blade, but so far he's only been able to get one, and he's down to 19 HP. He will survive for now, and he actually does demech Punk, but at the end of the day, Blank Blue are just not winning these fights convincingly enough, and Dark-Sided are doing a very, very annoying trickle. Well, that's it, and now the Winston's on the point. Micro is sleeped. Micro should surely go down. There we go. He's picked up Adam, almost ready for a self-destruct. Maybe if we can combine that with something else, it'll put them in the right position, the right opportunity. But for now, they've lost a good 2 minutes here on attack. They don't even have 1/3 of the point captured. Yeah, and they've only got 2.5 minutes left on the clock as well. And they've been really throwing everything at Dark-Sided. They've had some good individual plays, they've had some good moments, but they just haven't been able to follow them up quite enough. Dark-Sided, by all rights, should have lost this by now, having lost both of their healers so early on in the last fight, but they're still alive and they haven't even given up a tick, so it's a very stoic defense from them. Punk has a self-destruct ready to go, not popping it yet, but losing a fair bit of damage. May want to use it to try and get the mech back. There we go, over the top, forces them back. Won't actually pick anyone up, gets the mech back, however, on defense. Blank forced back as well, and Adam going to go down there at the end. So Dark-Sided on defense. 90 seconds is how much longer they need to hold this out. They've got 2 ultimates, going to be 3 shortly, with Termo coming through with that EMP. And as we've said time and time again, EMP is a skill, Jordan, that could win you a fight just by itself. He almost gets picked here, but oh god. Smilko saves him just in time with a nicely placed shot from Ana. USMC was in real trouble there, but now Blank Blue, they haven't capitalized upon that opening, and Dark-Sided once more are putting them under the pressure, under the pump. Yeah, hasn't been great here for Blank on attack, really struggling to get any sort of foothold. There were a couple of moments there where I personally thought maybe they're at least going to get 1/3, but it hasn't been the case. They haven't even been able to secure any percentage points, requiring 1 full third of this to go across before it's actually recorded. So the potential here for this to be 0 on point B, which is not what you want to do up against Dark-Sided. Definitely not. Definitely not. But Blank Blue, they just need to give everything in this final fight. They've got those ultimates. They didn't use any in the last one. And if it is a prolonged fight, you know, they're going to be coming up on self-destruct and sound barrier midway or partway through the fight as well. But the real key here is Termo in that Sombra has an EMP available. USMC does throw out that pulse bomb. Not much to come from it, but where is Termo? That's the critical thing that Blank Blue need to be aware of. No early pick from the Tracer. Tran's going to come out, however. Termo's still holding on to the EMP. What is the key time to use it? Side round the back. Maybe if he can find the supports. Forces out the Transcendence. Stays alive. Dark-Sided's picked up 2. Blank looking real sickly here on the point, trying to get through. It's going to be a big ask. I don't know if it's possible. I don't think it is possible at this point, Ben. Dark-Sided have had a very stellar defense on point B, and Blank Blue, no one is going to be able to jump in there and secure any more overtime for them. So the task ahead of Dark-Sided is to cap only 1 tick here on Hanamura second, and they will win the series. Bare minimum 3-1, but at this point, they're even looking good for a 4-0 right now. Dark-Sided looking very, very strong, and Blank Blue, they just don't seem to have enough to push through them. Well, that's it. They're just that 1 tier, just that 1 little bit, just the whatever it happens to be, Jordan. And considering, again, I just want to reiterate that for many, Blank Blue was the team, right? this is why they got picked up by Blank, one would assume. They already had the best team in the region who went to Pacific Contenders. Of course, they wanted to run a team here in Australian Contenders. Would it not make sense to try and
get the
grab
best one there
the
too.
top team? And to be fair, they're a young team and they played very well throughout the season. But right now, up against Darksided, it's not looking so good.
No.
The other thing I suppose to talk about here is how does this really see them align with some of the better teams in Group B now?
Yeah, it's a tough ask, and that's something that we will answer, I suppose, when we get to finals and playoffs and everything like that. But definitely it does put a downer on Blank Blue's Contenders, so far at least. But look, I mean, it is still only 2-0, right? We're maybe counting them out a little bit early. Blank Blue could just completely full hold first.
Look, they could. But it doesn't seem like that's how these teams match up.
It doesn't. But who's to say things can't swap over at the drop of a hat?
Certainly not Elfishguy. I wouldn't want to suggest.
A very strange defensive setup here from Blank Blue. Not their usual composition, which would be, generally speaking, dive. This time they've gone for a tankier lineup, triple tank plus micro on the Reaper, which is one of the healthier DPS. Darksided, I'm not sure are going to be prepared for that. Not going to be aware of it, at least. Swilko, this Sonic Arrow might give them some info, though. You know, they spot the Reinhardt and the D.Va, so nothing really given away there.
No, potentially you would expect a Reinhardt here on defense sometimes. Not from Dive, however. Triple tanks.
Oh, they're swapping off. What's USMC going to go here? Turmo into the
Well,
Farah. Look at this, so quick to adapt this Darksided, and that's really good to see. Turmo's going to be a massive problem for this tanky composition. Very similar to what we saw from Color Hex on Nepal.
What do you even do here, Jordan? No
Die.
soldier, no sniper,
Oh,
no one to deal with Turmo here on the Farah.
Turmo's so good. Did you see that? He gets rid of both of the healers, Ben. And now Blank Blue, well, they're just a bunch of tanks. They're not even tanky tanks anymore.
Nope. Absolutely outplaying Blank Blue here.
so
Darksided
good.
having a fantastic game as they capture point A here on Hanamura. Almost.
Good try from Signed. Wouldn't have made a difference in the end anyway.
Got to do your best.
But that's so good from, oh my goodness me, Darksided. That's the quickest adaptation we have seen, and they swap straight back off it. Turmo's immediately back onto the Sombra. Blank Blue might even be expecting that to come in here for the final point, but look at this, 6.5 minutes.
Dear everyone in my ranked games, watch this. That's what you're supposed to do. Swap off.
Yeah, swap off and swap. It doesn't necessarily mean the counters are always going to work, but it definitely goes a long way to helping, and Darksided looking really good.
1/3, Jordan. 1/3 is all they need here. You heard a hack go through from Darksided as well. That was Turmo doing work. USMC still hasn't used his pulse bomb. Will save it up potentially for up the back. Self-destruct comes through. Will find one, and that's a crucial kill onto USMC. But when they only need 1/3, there's only so much you can do, Jordan.
Oh, Micro's going to get popped off there, and that might almost be it. I mean, just gets back on in time, but he's being absolutely slapped around right now by Mooney. Molotov popping the Transcendence as well, keeping those crucial players alive on the point, and still the kills are flowing in the way of Darksided as their reinforcements start to arrive. Turmo's back in the fight, and Blank Blue, they're hanging on for dear life right now.
You can see the nanoboo's coming through, but 1, 2 picks coming up there, including the D.Va out of the mech. There's another 2. This is it. This is it. They cannot come back from this Darksided, get the point. They get the victory. They take down Blank Blue. The score is 3-0 now. And man, how one-sided has this started to become?
Very one-sided indeed. That one on Hanamura was sublime, really, from Darksided. Just so quick on the adaptation. Again and again, I keep talking about it, but very impressive. And then they continue that momentum rolling into the second point when they have that advantage in terms of the ultis. And now Blank Blue, all they can play for is pride. They need to get one map out of this one at least, otherwise another 4-0 is what we have on our cards, and definitely not what we would have anticipated coming into this matchup, and definitely not what Blank Blue would have anticipated coming into this matchup.
Well, it's Masterminds drop bears all over again, Elfishguy.
Maybe not to that extent, but you're right. It is looking like it could be a 4-0.
The scores are the same. The scores are to that extent.
Yeah, definitely.
My hope is, though, that they can pull back another map. But I want to flag something we spoke about at the start of this game, Jordan, and that was obviously Legacy next week, for Blank. And we were like, well, there's no way that they lose to Legacy. And they probably won't, but they've been destroyed here, Jordan.
Legacy's been on the up and up, and they're going to be looking at this one, sort of licking their lips a little bit, thinking, Blank Blue, you know, they're looking a little bit susceptible right now.
And the reality here is, right, if you are Legacy and you think maybe you're going to lock in 3rd place, which means you need to play...
Most likely drop bears.
Most likely drop bears. You say, you know, if we could take down Blank now instead of having to go up against drop bears, that means we have a much easier push in playoffs through to finals. And if you're going to have to verse one of the top 4 teams, would rather try and get it through in the group stages and get that victory out of the way and not have to do it in playoffs.
I tell you what, Ben, if Legacy were able to do that, that would be a bit of a Cinderella story.
Look, it's a big ask, Jordan. It's a big ask, but I just want to put it out there on the ledge. I want to set it out for people to for it to percolate.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if that's possible. But Blank Blue, drop bears. That's the options for Legacy. I mean, obviously, I think Blank Blue is probably going to be the more difficult of the two.
I think you're probably right.
Even if Legacy doesn't get rid of Blank Blue, they could still have a chance against drop bears in playoffs. But look, I mean, who knows? I mean, this really is quite an exciting time now for the final week of Contenders. I thought coming into the 6th week that things might sort of already be kind of all cleaned up. We would know where everyone's sort of sitting more or less. But now...
Who knows, Jordan? Anything is possible. Anything is possible. Except anything is not possible for the last map because there's only 2 to pick from, and it's going to go to Dorado. No Junkertown today. I'm so disappointed. But I don't know if I'm as disappointed as maybe Blank are going to be today.
Maybe indeed. Dorado, though, for them has been a pretty good one. 3-0. Is what they're at so far at this point on Dorado, but I feel like I'm kind of like, well, it's the same thing as when, you know, when we got into that matchup between Masterminds and Drop Bears, and I was like, well, Drop Bears currently are at 3-0 on every single map. They've got a 100% win rate here. Oh, but they've lost 0-3 so far.
Yeah. Statistics only get you so far, Jordan, particularly when you've only got a few games to pick from. The numbers aren't big.
Indeed. Right now, though, one number is what Blank Blue wants, and that is the number 1, because they just at least want to be able to get something, you know, some semblance of pride, or just avoiding that 4-0, you know, because that would be huge for Darksided and not at all good for Blank Blue. But look at this from side. Wow.
Oh, man.
It's the May Bastion, and it hasn't worked out there for Darksided, or rather for Blank Blue. The name's the wrong way around, guys. Darksided's the one on the left in blue, and Blank Blue is the one on the right in red, which doesn't make much sense, does it, Ben, really, when you think about it?
The colours are so confusing, but it's okay.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
We'll get that fixed up, but obviously hasn't necessarily worked out there for Blank Blue. But it was nice. I like the intent. Almost worked.
The reality here, though, is that Blank Blue have pushed this payload a long way forward here now on attack, and Micro doing a bit of damage as well. You see Molotov goes down in the background, trying to chase down Swilko as well. You can see the Discord board over there on the Mercy. Swilko will eventually go down. So, a great first push here on Dorado from Blank. This is what they need to do. This is the start that they want.
Absolutely. Great start for Blank Blue. A complete, more or less complete wipe actually out onto Darksided. And definitely a better start to the map than how things have been going for them throughout this entire series. They will manage to get that first cap in very, very quick time. But we've got a couple of ultis there for Darksided. So let's see what USMC can do. He's again been very, very impressive throughout this entire season really on Tracer. But in this matchup, I think he's probably, across the board, been the most impactful player for Darksided. You know, he has been really working hard for them. Sign does get Swilko, so that's big.
Yeah, it's a 1-for-1, losing the healer in the process. Micro, you hear, pulling out the Dragon Blade and finding Termo, but that's probably going to be the end of his kill. Self-destruct comes through, finds no one this time around. Mooney's still up there on the high ground, decides to fall back. So, for the moment, again, Blank Blue on attack, pushing through, 4:30 on the clock. They're about halfway through the map now, Elfishguy, but it only gets tougher from here.
Yeah, it definitely does. Right now, we're starting to see Darksided stabilize a little bit. You know, the going is still definitely tough for them, but Mooney pops off that Primal Rage, gets dropped very quickly down to 200 HP and has to back out there. He's still looking for that health, trying to keep Blank Blue at bay. USMC dancing around in the back, still putting some damage out. The Discord on the Winston, that's good news for USMC, but still not able to connect that kill just yet. Termo's got the tactical visor out, but man, this is looking really tough actually for Darksided. They need to sort of reset. They need to fall back. They need to just give ground to Blank Blue and reset themselves.
They're fighting these fights where they're at a disadvantage the majority of the time, and unfortunately, that's not how Overwatch works. And I'm sure they realise that. But I guess they've had such a good run of it so far, they feel like maybe they can get these picks, maybe they can push through. 3.5 meters left to go here to get it across the line. Sign having a great game right now here on the Tracer, picking up kill after kill after kill.
Yeah, absolutely. Just really bullying the healers of Darksided. You saw in that last fight, both Swilko and Molotov go down to Sign. Then he dispatches of his counterpart, USMC. So definitely coming up with the goods in this one for Blank Blue. Sign just having a stellar game, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's already 3-0 for Darksided, so what does it really matter?
Well, the answer is, well, not really that much, to be honest.
Pride on the line again, like I said.
Yeah,
that's all.
Because Darksided now obviously cannot be overtaken here in this group. They are 5-0 for match wins, which secures them the #1 seed. But let's see if they can just make Blank Blue feel that a little bit scared if they ever see them again. I guess already that's probably where the point is. But not this time around, at least not here on Dorado. This has been a great attacking push. And Sign finds 2.
Again and again and again, Sign is getting so much value out of this Tracer. Not necessarily just from the pulse bombs, but more so just the play in general. And so far, it just feels like his payload has not stopped. For Blank Blue, Darksided are going to be able to reset themselves just a little bit now. Molotov is over onto Moira, which was what he really had a good time with on Hollywood, so could definitely work out here for him, but this is going to have to be a strong defense from Darksided. At least they've got something to play with, Primal Rage and Tactical Visor, but again, Blank Blue, they just decided to take the fight to Darksided.
Still 3.5 minutes here, Jordan, and the payload is so very close to being capped out all the way through in this third phase. You can see the Tac Visor comes through. Self-destruct, though, captures out no one. Sign goes down. Finally, Termo requiring that Tac Visor to do the work because Sign has had such a great game here on Dorado. Micro pushes through, finds Punk, still on the point, but Darksided with that spawn advantage will allow them to get the better of them, pushing through, staying alive, holding their ground, if only for the moment. Yeah, well, things have finally stabilized for Darksided. They've stopped the rot, and now they can start to really put Blank Blue under a bit of pressure themselves. If they can hold this one off for another 2 minutes or so, then they're going to be in with a fairly decent defense of their own. So, you know, Blank Blue, despite having done all that good work early on, they need to continue. They can't rest on their laurels. It's not over just yet, Ben. No, you can't get it the majority of the way there. That's exactly what happened on Hollywood, Jordan. You're like, oh, we're almost there, boys. That's easy. We done. And then just forgetting to get it across the line. So, yep. And now it feels like the momentum has shifted back onto Darksided. Certainly the ult economy advantage has. Molotov has got his coalescence up quite quickly and popping that one off as fast as he can. Now, the Dragon Blade, though, comes out from Micro. Self-destruct as well over the top finds. No one this time around tries to catch the D.Va. Out of the mech, unsuccessful. Micro pushes through. But Unta will go down. Another self-destruct out the back. Finds no one again. Gobs managed to D-mech Punk, who should go down. Stays alive for a long time, but not long enough. Blank Blue with the player advantage right here. They've got the kills. The self-destruct goes off on the point. We'll be able to get that mech back now as well. Stays alive, continues to push this one forward. Blank doing what they need to do, and maybe this sound barrier will be enough to push them forward. Potentially it could be. Frogger coming up with one at a good time, but USMC, as soon as he comes off that respawn, he does have a pulse bomb, and Termo, 93% on the EMP. He's got to make sure that he can't get picked right now. Here it comes though, Ben. EMP is out. EMP bomb over the top, finds a kill. USMC with an ult of his own, ready to throw it through. Probably won't need it. Saves it for now, and a clean wipe coming out from Darksided. Only Adam remains. This is not going to be fun. They're just going to leave. Excuse me. Adam wants to jump off the edge, but he's just being stopped in his tracks. That's literally the worst thing about playing D.Va. Yep. Oh, that's a nice pick though from Sign. So, 50 seconds on the clock. 1, 2, 3, 4 ultimates ready to go for Darksided. That'll be 5 with Swilko. And Molotov pops the coalescence. Goes down in the meantime, though. Hunter gets dropped by Mooney, and USMC still has a pulse bomb here. He's
really working nicely at the moment with Mooney. Both of them dealing with the healers.
Eats the pulse bomb as well with the defense matrix on the D.Va. 20 seconds, Jordan. Blank Blue. They looked so very good here on Dorado, but it has been harder and harder in this third phase. It was right up until the end, and now it feels like they've dropped the ball.
Definitely does. Really, really has been a strong defense in this final point for Darksided. There must be credit given to them as well. But this is the final fight coming out, and the self-destruct is out, but Punk is still hanging on to his.
Going to use it at probably a less than opportune time. Finds Frogger though. Micro's picked up 2. Maybe Blank is still alive though. They do have that primal rage. That could be enough to push them off the point. That could be enough to push this through. They need to get it all the way to the end.
Termo needs to get good value out of this EMP. He needs to get it up now. He's waiting. He's got it. Push it. Yes, there we go. And Termo does get the EMP across, but is it going to be enough for Darksided to hold USMC? He's doing the damage. He's getting the pulse bomb up.
Yes, Jordan. The answer is yes. I think that will be enough. I think they can push them off, and I don't think that Blank can push this point.
No, well, I mean, Hunter's got the Transcendence there.
Not enough.
Adam has been demeched. Frogger, not even anywhere close to the sound barrier.
No.
Must have used it already.
They're trying their utmost. They're trying to stay alive, but the coalescence coming out from Molotov will be the icing on this very sad cake for Blank Blue.
Oh, it's not over just yet, Ben.
Tell me I'm wrong, Jordan. I want to be wrong.
Oh, USMC kills himself.
But I don't think I am.
I don't think you are, as far as this round is concerned. It will be closed out there by Darksided. But we still have another round to play.
And the longest third point of Dorado in Australian Contenders history. Very long overtime. But not enough. Not enough to get it through to the end.
Not to secure all 3. So, I mean, look, they still get a long way. Darksided still have work to do here on Dorado, but that's the exact same thing that I said about Hollywood. Hollywood?
Hollywood.
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 It's been a tough day on the voice.
Where's Hawaii?
Where's Hawaii? Oh, goodness me. All right, well, Blank Blue, yeah, it is not fun, you know, when you get stuck in one spot for so long and you're just like, we've done everything we can. We've used our pulse bombs, we've used our dragon blades, we've had self-destructs out.
We did everything right.
We did everything.
Up to this point, we're good, we're ready to go.
It just, to me, Ben, it feels like those chaotic situations favor Blank Blue a little bit more. You know, when there was chaos, when Darksided was on the back foot and Blank Blue could continue to push forward and play their own game and make those fights really just all over the place and messy and dirty and everything like that. But once Darksided has time to settle back down, reset, get themselves in their positions and figure out how do we want to defend this point, what are we going to do to keep Blank Blue at bay, that's when it starts to favor Darksided. So maybe that sort of slower play style a little bit favors Darksided more so than Blank Blue. And once the momentum was stopped from Blank, Darksided was able to start to come up with the advantages.
I'm just not sure whether it was a matter of Blank just not being good enough up against Darksided when Darksided has that advantage of being so close to the spawn, right?
Yeah, exactly. But Darksided got some pretty critical ultimates up at the right time as well. Like, if Termo would have gotten picked before he got that final ulti off, that final EMP, could have been different.
Sign, first kill of the second half here on Dorado. Finds Molotov. Let's see what Sign can do on the Widow, Jordan, because if Blank Blue can hold here, I think a lot of that will come behind a very strong Widow play.
Could certainly be quite impactful. But given how powerful he was on the Tracer, it's almost a shame to see him here on the Widow. So far, not getting anything done.
Yeah.
Darksided playing very disciplined. They're not allowing any of their supports to peek.
And the fact is that Blank haven't wanted to fight on the payload. They've been holding back, and the payload just pushed forward. And this is precisely how Darksided wants this to go down. They've lost a pop now. The Infrasight is ready to go. But look at that. Mooney finds a couple, and all of a sudden, Blank Blue starting to fall behind Sign. Not necessarily hitting the shots that he needs to be hitting here to have that same impact that, as you said, we've seen on that Tracer, Jordan. And now the payload just stops shy a few meters short of point A.
Yeah, well, still, it's been a better defense from Blank than it was from Darksided, so there is that silver lining for them.
Not saying much though, is it?
No, it's not. It is not. Mooney had a pretty good fight in the last one, so now that he's back and ready to go, let's see what he can do here in this commitment from Darksided.
Look at that. Just one hero pushing the payload forward. Now Darksided with the Coalescence as well from Molotov's side. Push back there by the Winston off the point. Micro gets hacked with the Dragon Blade out.
That's not fun at all. That could be the straw that breaks the camel's back there for Blank Blue, and it is indeed on this point as Darksided do wipe them.
It feels when you just get caught there holding your Dragon Blade in your hands like, oh.
Oh, look, that happens to me all the time, Ben.
I just can't do anything with it. What am I going to do with this thing?
It's tough. You pull it out and it's not working. But for Blank Blue, they've decided to swap off the Widowmaker, which I think is probably not a bad idea, to be honest. I think Cyan didn't really have the impact there that he wanted to, and the Tracer from him in the last was sublime, so good option.
Trying to battle it from the high ground here on defense. Seen this time and time again, and it works quite well if you can hold the point. That's what they'll do for now, at least. But look at this, the ultimate stack, 1, 2, 3, 4 here for Darksided. 4 pretty useful ultimates as well, as Gob goes down straight away to USMC. Transcendence forced out here to try and keep Blank alive, to try and keep them fighting through this Coalescence, coming back out the other way from Molotov as Unter finally goes down as soon as that ends.
Yeah, so I mean the Transcendence didn't have too much value there for Blank Blue. The fight was already one that Darksided were starting to win, and Unter, he only kept himself alive so long as the Transcendence was up, and as you said, as soon as it disappears, Darksided get that kill as well. And Darksided will continue that payload push on forward. Blank Blue, they haven't had a stellar defense so far, you know, like ordinarily we'd be thinking this is pretty good from Darksided. When compared to what Blank Blue was able to do on their attack, yes, it's a little bit slower, but all in all, it's actually been quite solid.
All in all, it's still very good, and it's what you'd expect to see, Jordan. And the problem really was that Blank got so caught up on that last point. Let's see whether the same thing happens to Darksided here. This is a great push. Permo managing to find the D-back, gets a hack out as well onto Micro once again. Micro caught shy. They find kill after kill after kill. Darksided pushing through. Can they make this 4-0? I vote yes.
I vote yes as well, Ben. These hacks from Termo have been so impactful, and they've got to be incredibly infuriating for Micro. Not to mention Punk, the focus fire there from Blank Blue, was from Darksided rather, was very good. And now for Darksided, they're coming into this final stage of the map with an EMP available for Termo. Could be very impactful, Ben.
They're going to try and fight it up in the high ground. Darksided pushes through. You can hear it in the back line, though. That's Micro with the Dragon Blade. No hack this time. He's found 2 already, including that Sombra. Wants to make it 3. See you later, Mooney. And
not
Blank
a great
Blue,
EMP.
Lock it down.
Termo tried to use that one to sort of disable the Dragon Blade there for Micro, but realistically speaking, A, he missed it on Micro, which was obviously not great, but also there was players already dead from Darksided, so it might have been better off just hanging on to it for Termo and engaging a fight on their own terms. You know, they had the time to play with, so Blank Blue come away with a nice round there, or a nice little, not round necessarily, but like a nice little skirmish, which puts things back in their favor now, and Darksided, they don't have much to work with here. Neither does Blank Blue, but on the defense, they have that spawner's advantage, so
they do.
The onus really is on Darksided to push in here, and we may yet once again see a very similar sort of a scenario, but flipped on its head.
Diving right again up to that high ground, trying to make the most of it, trying to force them off there, find it on their own terms. The Coalescence this time, we'll see Molotov pushing through, trying to use it on the healing side of things instead of that attack. A little bit of both, I suppose. Self-destruct comes through, Unter goes down, Darksided finds the first pick. You see one coming back out the other side. Punk's now found 2, Jordan, and Blank looking less good now on defense.
Yeah, Molotov in the meanwhile does go down to Gob and Sign, but inevitably, Darksided across the rest of the map are winning the fight, and now the spawn camp starts to come into effect. As Darksided, they push that payload forward, and Blank Blue still on the respawn. So look at this, Darksided, they have a perfect opportunity to close this one out.
Ultimates galore, and Mooney with that Primal Rage is going to get up amongst the spawn here. Try and make life very difficult for all these players respawning. trying to get out there onto the point.
Oh, the hack!
Hack onto Micro again with the Dragon Blade. He manages to find 2, with one of those being the mech. But Blank actually shut it down.
Hey, hold on, just in time. I thought the hack was going to be a little bit too much to deal with.
Just one ultimate use.
Let's not get too excited though, Ben, because if you look across Blank Blue's roster, no ultimates available. Self-destruct is coming up shortly. Sound Barrier is coming up shortly. But I tell you what, counteract Sound Barrier.
Yeah.
That's EMP.
EMP.
Turbo's got another one. There's a minute 23 on the clock. Darksided have definitely got another push in them.
They want to clean them up in one fell swoop, Jordan. They want to pick up at least 5 of these kills at the same time to counteract any respawns.
Good teamwork.
Straight away they find one, and now the EMP is ready. Over the top, that's what we want to see. They've all managed. They've actually lost 2 here as Blank Blue. There you go, EMP to counteract that sound barrier, Jordan. They're starting to lose players, but it's not necessarily the clean kills they needed.
No, it's, well, I mean, to be honest, this is actually looking pretty good for Darksided. It is Blank Blue starting to trickle in, but is it going to be enough? That's the real question. I mean, it started off so well for Darksided. They didn't even need the EMP, but it seems as though Blank Blue have pushed them back, and now Gob with that Primal Rage is going to be a real problem here for Molotov. He's not going to be able to get the full value out of the Coalescence.
Yeah, look at this. Turbo getting so many hacks onto players with their ultimates, but he won't be able to get Micro, who's chasing them down. There's one. Looking for a second, will manage to pick up both the healers.
Time to reset for Darksided. They've got just enough maybe to get back on for one more push. 15 seconds. Maybe I spoke too soon,
This could be it, Jordan. Blank Blue.
I think they're done. I don't think anyone can actually get there. No,
6
they're not.
seconds.
They're not going to get there, Ben.
5 seconds. 3, 2,
okay.
1, onto the point. They make it. But is it going to be enough? Can Blank Blue force them back? The overtime is ticking away. Turbo pushes through under the point, but this is not the way to win the fight.
No.
Obviously, Darksided are doing their best, but Blank are going to hold them out. Blank are finally going to win a map here at the top of the table clash.
Oh, well, at least something salvaged there for Blank Blue as they come away with a victory on Dorado. It was a very, very hard-fought victory as well, and really there was opportunities abound for Darksided to close it out, but they just couldn't get it done in the end. The trickle was too strong for Blank Blue, and Micro was a big proponent of that as well.
Look at this.
This was such a great play.
Yep. Right at the end of the game as well, and a very big part of, look at this, you can see that's at 20 seconds to go, Jordan. Yeah. Huge, huge plays coming out there, but I do want to say so often we saw these ultimates get shut down by the hack coming out from the Sombra, and those are some really big plays. I feel like it could have ended even earlier than that, had that not been the case.
Yeah, definitely. It was a very, very well-played map on both attack and defense from Blank Blue. They look scary on Dorado indeed, but unfortunately for them, it was just not enough. It was too little. It was too late. And it's 3-1 at the end of the day there for Darksided. So Ilios, Hollywood, and Hanamura all fairly convincing actually in the end there for Darksided. I mean, they didn't really seem to be hugely challenged until it really got to Dorado. And that was more what we expected out of this matchup.
Yeah, Ilios, Hanamura, definitely I would agree there. Hollywood was a little bit 50-50. There were bits and pieces there. Potentially, if things had gone differently, we could have seen this as a 2-2 and we would have got your 3-2 like we'd hoped down map 5. But in the end, the score speaks for itself, and Darksided going to come away undefeated so far in the regular season as they lock that down. 5 wins, 0 losses, no more games to play for them. So congratulations on securing that top spot for Group A. Well, for Blank Blue, however, they have one more match to go. That's next week up against Legacy. You'd like to think that Blank should be able to win that match.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I would like to think should Blank go up against Darksided again, the result may have been different. I would like to think they came back and fought that once more. Maybe in a couple of weeks from now, it would be finals. Yeah, exactly.
Who knows? That's going to be quite an interesting and exciting storyline. Maybe if we get to see Masterminds and Drop Bears go up against each other again, that's another one to keep an eye on. But for Legacy, I think next week the real thing for me is just seeing how well they're going to be able to challenge Blank Blue. How much growth has Legacy been able to produce throughout this season? Because coming into it, they were fairly solidly slated as a middle-of-the-pack team, but now they're starting to sort of move up in the world. It feels like they've definitely been getting better and better. And if they can put some pressure on Blank Blue, maybe there could be a pretty exciting result ahead of it for us.
It's a big ask, but anything can happen, as they say, Elfishguy. So